Dear brothers and sisters, I welcome you all to hear and see this video message. In this video, I am going to explain the government should increase tobacco, that is Bidi, cigarettes and tobacco products taxes should be increased in India. Content for this article I given in the description. You can go through and study. There are approximately 120 million smokers in India. According to the World Health Organization, India is home to 12% of the world smokers. Tobacco will be responsible for 1 in 5 of all male deaths and 1 in 20 of female deaths in country by 2010. This means approximately 1 million Indians would die annually from smoking by 2010. Without any intervention, over 38 million Bidi smokers and 13 million cigarette smokers alive today will die prematurely from disease caused by tobacco use. Bidi and cigarette smokers die 6 to 10 years earlier than their non-smoking counterparts. Tobacco and tobacco products are a large contributor to the government's tax revenue. Tobacco sector contributes a whopping of 11,79,498 crores to Indian economy. The total tax revenue collected from tobacco products is more than 43,000 crores annually. India accounts for 84% of the world consumption of smokeless tobacco. Over the last 3 decades, overall tobacco consumption in the country has increased by 47%. According to the Global Adult Tobacco Survey 2016 and 17, conducted by the Tata Institute of Social Science and Mumbai for the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, Government of India, about 28.6% of the Indian population consume tobacco, of which 10.7% smoke tobacco, while the remaining use smokeless tobacco like ghutka, kaini and zarda. Studies have found that tobacco consumption is also high in tribal and backward regions of India. The sale of cigarettes, ghutka and bidis and tobacco products goes unabated in India. Most countries have put restriction on minimum age for purchasing tobacco products in India. The sale of tobacco products is prohibited to persons under the age of 18. But in US it is illegal for a retailer to sell any tobacco products to anyone under 21 years of age. So our Union Health Ministry also should amendments to the Tobacco Regulation Act to raise minimum age for smoking from 18 to 25 years to make tobacco products less accessible and less attractive to the youth. In India, tobacco is harvested mainly in 2 forms, cigarette tobacco and non-cigarette tobacco. During 2017 and 18, non-cigarette tobacco alone had a 69% of market share. But considering the consumption tax revenue ratio of the overall segment of smoked tobacco, legal cigarettes account for 10% of the consumption and 86% of the tax revenues. The tax revenue from cigarettes across India in fiscal year 2019 was approximately 349 billion Indian rupee. This implies that even though smokeless tobacco has the highest rate of consumption, more revenue is earned from legal cigarettes. Cigarettes taxes 64% of excise duty, 28% of GST and 5% cess in India are among the highest in the world. As a result, they shift towards the consumption of Bidi and other forms of smokeless tobacco. Tobacco, despite its triggering addiction and intoxication, is consumed significantly by Indians especially in the form of smokeless tobacco. Smokeless tobacco is more prevalent than cigarettes or Bidis in India. So, to reduce tobacco usage, we should bring smokeless tobacco under more tax base and impose higher taxes. Bidi is very inexpensive in India, where Bidi consumption outpaces that of conventional cigarettes, accounting for 48% of the Indian tobacco consumption. Consumption of Bidis among the economical weaker section is worse because they contain 3 times more nicotine and 5 times more tar, increasing the risk of oral cancer among the most vulnerable section of the society. The market share for cigarettes in India stands merely at 14%. On the other hand, Bidis account for 48% of the market share and smokeless tobacco for 38%. This is mainly due to sharp contrast in pricing of cigarettes and Bidis. The average per stick price of cigarette is approximately 10 times higher than the average per unit cost of a Bidi. So, reduce consumption, increase Bidi taxes substantially. Increasing Bidi taxes from rupees 14 to rupees 98 per thousand Bidis, from 9% to 40% of the retail price, will increase government revenue by 36.9 billion rupees. The price increase will avert up to 15.5 million premature deaths caused by Bidi smoking. According to the latest study done by the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare in India, the total economic cost for treating tobacco-linked disease of individuals aged 35 to 69 amounted to 1,045 billion in 2011 and 12. This economic health care cost burden was more than 5 times the excise tax revenue collection done by the government from tobacco in the same year. This implies that for every 20 paise collection in excise tax on tobacco, Indian government has to spend more than rupees 1 for tobacco linked health issues. Health cost for tobacco related illness are high. India's high smoking rate causes alarming health and economic cost. Therefore, any move to disincentivize consumption of tobacco seems like a win-win from every aspect. If India increases its tax rate on Bidi from rupees 14 to rupees 98 per thousand sticks, from 9 to 40% of retail price, and on cigarettes from rupees 650 to rupees 3,691 per thousand sticks, from 38% to 78% of retail price, 18.9 million lives will be saved among Indians alive today. The increase in tobacco tax will provide the government with an additional 183.2 billion rupee in tax revenue. The most effective way to reduce tobacco is to raise the price of tobacco through tax increases. UAE added a 100% tax on cigarettes. Higher prices discourage youth from initiating cigarette smoking and encourage current smokers to quit. Studies of price elasticities in India find that a 10% increase in tobacco prices is estimated to reduce Bidi consumption by 9.1% and cigarette consumption by 2.6%. So, by imposing high taxes as 100%, large numbers, death and economic burden to families and government could be avoided. It is time for the government to think seriously about regulating tobacco consumption more aggressively. Verdict on tobacco by Apex Court. Tobacco is universally regarded as one of the major public health hazards, is responsible directly or indirectly for an estimated 8 lakh deaths annually in the country. It has also been found that treatment of tobacco related diseases and loss of productivity cost therein cost of country almost 13,500 crores annually, which more than offsets all the benefits occurring in the form of revenue and employment generated by tobacco industry. That is declared by Supreme Court of India Justice Murli S. Diora versus Union of India and Overas on 2nd November 2001. Bible says in Exodus chapter 7 verse 17, why should you die before your time by tobacco smoking?